Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the United Stand. Good morning. Coming off the back of a here we go for Antony. How are you guys feeling about this signing? I'm buzzing. I cannot wait to see this guy in action. Obviously, we're going to be discussing kind of what's next for Manchester United in terms of incomings and outgoings. Memphis Depay, Ronaldo, Gakpo, a lot to get into in today's show, obviously, and I'm keen to hear your guys' comments as well on what you guys think is going to be happening. Obviously, I think there's there's not long left of the transfer window left. Basically, there's less than a week, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Antony, guys, what are we thinking? We can bring a tweet up on screen, I'm pretty sure. Basically, it's understood that Manchester United will pay an initial fee of 80.75 million for Antony with a further 4.25 million in add-ons. Now, I've made it pretty clear that we shouldn't be paying this amount of money for him. We shouldn't be paying this amount of money for anyone from the Eredivisie, really. But in my honest opinion, I do think that he will be a great signing for Manchester United. I do think that he will improve us going forward. He will improve with his flair. His main attributes are that he is an inverted winger and he is that tricky sort of winger that we hope to have got in Sancho, and we're yet to see it. So hopefully when he does come to Manchester United and when he does show what he's about, that we're going to see an incredible player here. And I think that's the most important part is the fact that the manager in Ten Hag has wanted him for so long, and we finally got him, regardless of the antics that the Glazers seem to do in terms of. Basically, we could have got him back in like May, June for a good 60 million euros, so a hell of a lot less. But nonetheless, he is here now. He's on his way. And saying that, it also looks that he's due to be in Manchester for a medical within the next 48 hours. That's coming in from Tony 67. So yeah, brilliant news in my opinion. I love the fact that this guy's coming in. Again, I do want to reiterate the fact that we shouldn't be paying the amount of money that we are for him, but nonetheless, we are. And I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on it, because obviously this is a huge amount of money. I think it's the record fee for the amount of money that we're paying for an Eredivisie player. It's ridiculous. It's incredible. But saying that, again, he's going to be, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a superstar. And I think Fabrizio even tweeted out, and this was a while ago as well, tweeted out that this guy has got a hell of a lot of potential. And yeah, he's a player that's got a very high ceiling in terms of potential as well. And yeah, he's I mean, I think even part of the fee, and this shows that when I think he obviously moved from Sao Paulo to Ajax, that I think there was a 2.5% clause in his contract when he moved, saying that they basically got a portion of the fee, and that shows that they didn't want to miss out on it. Basically, we actually got the first super chat actually from Gary O'Brien. Hi Mark, why are you not Mark? Well, I'm afraid I'm not Mark, so you'll have to put up with me today. But yeah, no, I rate the banter. It's all good. It's all good chat. We all love each other, don't we? But yeah, I mean, look, to kind of sum up the Antony deal, I love the fact that he's going to come to Manchester United. I love the fact that he was all in for Manchester United as well, and I just rate the fact that he had his eyes, and a lot of people are going to be torn in how he dealt with Ajax in that situation, and he wasn't too. I don't know. A lot of people are going to think he was very unprofessional in the way that he was acting. Personally, I mean, a lot of people are, or a lot of players do this nowadays. They make it very, very clear that that they want to leave, and I think kind of leading on from that you can actually take Ronaldo wanting to leave and his situation. He's not turning up for training. He is turning up for games and sitting on the bench, and he is being that team player. So I think we can take a lot from that situation, really. According to journalist Dean Jones, United have inquired about Hakimi, whose long-term future at Paris Saint-Germain remains up in the air. Okay, that's news to me, my friend. I mean, Hakimi would be probably a half decent right back for us, but that's news to me. But yeah, guys, I mean, the Antony deal is obviously as I say, the medical's looking to be done, and hopefully, I mean, it's unlikely that he'll play, obviously, against Leicester, but it's obvious we want him for that game at Old Trafford, his home debut, his proper full debut. I'm not sure whether he'll start or anything like that, but yeah, the Arsenal game is where we want him to feature first. I think even if he was available for that Leicester game, just having him available to make his home debut in front of Old Trafford, and that it would be electric, I think. What is the future of Rashford from now on? We can actually get into that a little bit later on when we're talking about outgoings as well. But I appreciate the super chat nonetheless. We will address it, as I say. But yeah, I mean, what, as the title and thumbnail says, what's next for Manchester United now that, you know, the Antony deal is done? What does this mean for the likes of Rashford, for the likes of even, you know, Sancho, Elanga, all these other wingers, Garnacho, and also that, you know, Manchester United, even Gakpo, when he's allegedly being brought in, and or looking at being brought in, should I say, you know, what does this mean for these types of players that Manchester United were obviously interested in? I think we made it pretty clear that we were interested in him, and I think, to be honest, if the bid did get rejected from Ajax, this 100 million euro fee, then I think the Gakpo would have surely been the next best thing to go down. We couldn't have gone any higher than that. I think it would have been. I mean, it's ridiculous now. I think it would have gone beyond ridiculous, in my opinion. And that's the main thing that I want to stress here is that I don't understand why we're paying that much money. But I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. It is what it is. Regardless of signings, we can't lose sight of the Glazers must go. Board must go. They signed these players to save their butts, nothing more, says Tim. I mean, and again, that is obviously a main talking point, right? That no matter, you know, they we could have brought in Messi, Ronaldo. I mean, sorry, Messi, Neymar. Obviously, you already got Ronaldo. We could have brought in all these star names, but the still the main thing actually is the fact that we need to obviously still be on the Glazers, and yeah, it's very much still Glazers out. Morning, Charlie. Any other incomings after Antony, says Michael Roach? Morning, mate. I mean, we can get onto that as well. I just do want to obviously go back to the point of Gakpo. Yeah, I completely mind blank then. But yeah, obviously, what does this mean for you know, Gakpo and stuff? And I think obviously we probably can bring another tweet up on screen that Manchester United's interest in Cody Gakpo is believed to have cooled somewhat after they agreed a deal in principle to sign Antony. Now, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I'd like to say that, you know, when you've spent 100 million euros, I think the fee, it works out about 85 million pounds. When you've spent that amount of money on, you know, this is the star signing, right? This is in terms of fee and in terms of you know, how long this saga has gone on for. It's interesting. I can't remember who tweeted it, but I did see a tweet saying it's such a Manchester United thing to create two transfer sagas during the same transfer window. Obviously, one being De Jong and one being Antony. And yeah, I mean, as I say, it's a normal thing. Obviously, we spent this amount of money, and we're obviously at this point now. Well, what's next, right? You know, we need another forward. Ideally, a centre forward, that striker position, which again is why you see in the thumbnail Memphis Depay. We can touch on him as well in a little bit. But I think the fact that it is a natural thing that Gakpo is going to be. I wonder how he's feeling. This is what I'm thinking. I wonder if there was actually any concrete talks between Manchester United and his representatives or himself, you know, saying that he whether he was keen, engaging interest that way. I'm not too sure. Happy for Antony on Gakpo. Worried since he plays left wing mostly. We need a striker. The only ones I've seen that are left is Jonathan David. Need a right back also, says SK. I agree with you, my friend. We do need a striker, but there is actually, I do think Gakpo played a few games in the Eredivisie last season as a striker, mainly as a left winger, as you say. But yeah, I think the fact is that I agree with you. We do need a striker, and this is the thing. Even with Ronaldo there, I do think we need a striker still. If Ronaldo's to leave, I think we need to bring in two. We definitely need one, regardless of the situation. We definitely need one. And again, I agree with you saying we need a right back also. What happens if Frankie de Jong gets sorted? 300 million spend, says Chris Naylor. Look, mate, in my honest opinion, it'll obviously not be done until until the transfer window is finished and completed. But it's looking highly, highly unlikely, right? Look, even the talks are dying down, and it almost doesn't make sense from Frankie De Jong's point of view, in my opinion. The fact that he wants to is looking like he's willing to take a pay cut, etc. But we don't want to go into Frankie De Jong. We're not here to talk about him today. We kind of solved all our problems with new signings, except up front. Who do you think will be leading our attack? Charlie says. Kelvin, hashtag Glazers out in there as well. Ultimately, mate, in my opinion, I think Antony's a starter. I don't think maybe not straight away. Maybe he does need that adaptation time. Maybe he does need time to come in and have 45 minutes or 20 minutes and get a feel for the Premier League. And obviously he's going to be thrown straight into the deep end in training, etc. So and again, I think you're very positive in the sense that you're saying we've solved all our problems. I don't think we have solved all our problems. Obviously, the goalkeeper situation needs to be sorted out in a backup goalkeeper. We still need a right back, I'd say. I understand the situation with Wan-Bissaka that we need to offload before we then recruit in that position as well. But it's something that Manchester United have known that we've needed to do for ages now. Wan-Bissaka was clearly not in Ten Hag's plans from the get-go, it seemed. So, I understand the fee that we paid for him, and that Crystal Palace only wanted him for, I think the alleged thing was like 10 million, which is quite muggy, yeah, to be honest. But I think we do need a right back, and we probably need another centre midfielder. Let's be honest. Ultimately, I'd love another centre midfielder, a box-to-box player. And again, there's loads of players out there that we could have got that have either moved or have signed new contracts and stuff. So, I mean, you're optimistic, and it's what I was, and I'm slowly dwindling out of it. The great excitement with Antony was watching him put crosses into the box for Ronaldo. Also, that spine of Varane, Casemiro, and Ronaldo. Hope he stays. I agree with you. I hope Ronaldo stays. I just think that with the comments that he made on his Instagram and stuff, I do think that it is looking likely that he is going to leave. And again, we can touch on this in a short while. But I agree with you. The spine of Varane, Casemiro, and then whether it is Ronaldo or Martial, I do think that it's very, very positive, guys. And that's the main thing that I think you can take away from this is we were on a fan forum last night and we were rating the transfer window, and I was very quick to say that it was actually I think a 5 out of 10, I said. But I mean, looking back and reflecting, I actually think I'd probably bump it up to a 7. And I agree with Adam's points on the forum last night and Ricky's as well, saying that it's not normal that you see something like 5 players being brought in, or even there's still time left, right? The possibility of more being brought in, but there's not many times that you can see that many players being brought in and them all starting. Like it's very, very rare. So I'd actually probably bump it up to a 7 in my honest opinion. But we can kind of round up this Gakpo, and as I said, the interest is believed to have cooled, which is only kind of a natural thing for me. I'd really say is that ultimately, and I can actually bring up some stats that I got. Is we can talk about Depay here as well, and what your guys' thoughts are on Memphis Depay, because obviously he is in the thumbnail and he has been mentioned. He has been mentioned in the sense of a target for Manchester United, and the possibility of, I'm not sure whether it actually is or would be a free signing, a free transfer in that sense. Ultimately, guys, I think we're in we're desperate throughout the whole window, right? But we're in proper desperation here for a forward, that is. And I think if I mean, look, you're gonna be comparing, or I'm gonna be comparing Gakpo and Depay here, and I know stats aren't everything, but you do have to take into consideration stats and what we're going to move into, and I think it's only natural to compare stats because it's very difficult otherwise, because these two players are two different positions. But we can quickly address some super chats here before I go into the stats. Antony is Greenwood's replacement. Very well. He could be. Gakpo, Alba, Depay in if CR7 goes. Alba for height. It's interesting, Chris, that you say that about bringing Aubameyang in. Ultimately, I don't think we should. I agree in either Gakpo or Depay or both. It'd be lovely, but I don't actually see any of this happening in my honest opinion. But we can go into some stats. So we'll start off with Depay. So he basically played the majority of his games as a centre forward for Barcelona last year. He played 28 games, 12 goals, 2 assists, leading to obviously 14 goal involvements in those 28 games. So not a bad return. It works out as obviously a goal involvement, whether that's a goal or assist every other game. So pretty decent. You know, it's not too bad. I think that's what you're obviously looking for. Now this season he is yet to play a game for Barcelona. I think this is obviously due to the fact that he is obviously wanting a move, or Barcelona want him out. So then they're just not playing him. But we can look back to his season before that with Lyon, or not just the season, but his career at Lyon. And he had over 100 goal involvements in 139 games in League One for Lyon, which is pretty good. And he obviously played in a multitude of different positions during his Lyon career, on the left, on the right, as a almost false nine, and as a centre forward as well. So it's someone that is versatile. I couldn't honestly tell you which one his best position is, and I think if it was him or no one, I would choose him. I think he would be a good addition. But again, it's whether these players are willing to sacrifice, and he wouldn't be a starter in my opinion. I think if Ronaldo is to leave, and we are to bring Depay in, or regardless, if Ronaldo is to stay, I think Depay is probably third choice behind Martial and Ronaldo. Ultimately, I don't know who you guys put in the pecking order, but I think I'd put him as third choice. But we can move on to Gakpo stats. He did play a majority of the games as a left winger last season. So in the Eredivisie, he played 27 games, scoring 12 goals and getting 13 assists. Obviously, that is adding up to 25 goal involvements or contributions last season in 27 games. So nearly a goal involvement every single game. And this season, he's obviously played 3 games in the Eredivisie and scored 3 goals and got 3 assists. And he hasn't even played a full 90 minutes yet. He's played, I think, in total 166 minutes. In 2 games, I think he's played about 60 odd minutes. And then in another game, he's played just one half. I mean, this guy is quite exciting, but I think again, I'm not gonna claim to say that I know a lot about this guy. I don't. I mean, I only saw glimpses of him play when they were playing Rangers. I think it's more the fact that within the media, he is being labelled as a Robin van Persie-esque / Thierry Henry-esque type player, but that is all potential and all hearsay. And if he's going to come to Manchester United, how much game time is he going to get? Because if he doesn't get the game time, is he going to develop into the player that a lot of people are saying that he could be, that Robin van Persie, that Thierry Henry? So I think it's a very difficult decision. And again, it relates, like, what's next for these players? Are we gonna actually go out there and look? I think it'll be very Manchester United to get Depay if it is a free, if it is that free. And yeah, I think it would make, it doesn't necessarily make sense to me, but it makes sense from a Manchester United point of view. We've done it for many years now. The Falcaos, the Falcao loan, the Cavani free, Igalo free. These guys get brought in as a last minute, and you never know, right? Like he could work out and be an incredible signing for us, and hit the ground running and be the Depay that we saw against, I think it was that Midtjylland team back in the day in the Europa League. When he played that game, he looked incredible. He's obviously developed into a very different type of player. He's not really known as that fast, tricky winger anymore. Maybe he still could be, but I think, yeah, ultimately, if I had a choice out of both of these two, I think I would choose Gakpo. But I think Manchester United are probably more interested in Depay just for the free transfer. And yeah, from as I say, from a Manchester United point of view, it's a easier. Nothing's easy with Manchester United. Let's be honest. But I think yeah, it's a more easy thing for Manchester United to do than negotiate with another club that from the Eredivisie that have seen the Antony deal pan out and probably will try and rinse us for even more money than I think it was around 30 odd million. But again, guys, what happens now with Ronaldo? I'm keen to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think is going to happen with Ronaldo, whether he is going to stay. Your thoughts on if you want him to stay, if you think he's willing to stay. It's obviously a difficult situation for him. I'm very interested to see what this interview is going to be when that comes out, when the transfer window does obviously close. I'm very very keen as to what's going to come out. The whole five journalists or five reports have only been right. In my opinion, it just leads to that he's gonna leave. But and I think if someone was willing to pay the fee for him, or not necessarily it's a high fee, but his wages and everything that kind of comes with that, I think he would be gone. He'd be gone quicker than you could say Ronaldo. Like he's expressed that he wants to leave. I don't disagree in the fact that he's been nothing but respectful and professional to Manchester United, and been very helpful in the fact of kind of trying to nurture these young players that we have in the Charlie Savages, the Zidane Iqbals, the Garnachos and stuff. And these guys will look up to him, right? They're younger than me, and they'll appreciate Ronaldo when he was at Manchester United, and obviously moved then off to Real Madrid, etc. This guy's an icon, one of the greatest footballers of all time, if not the greatest footballer of all time. A lot of people are going to say, but I think, in my honest opinion, it's looking. I mean, it's going to be very, very difficult for Ronaldo and his representatives to find a solution. I think it's. I don't know how many exact days are left. 4, 5 of the transfer window. It's not looking good for him if he is wanting to leave. And what does this then mean for Ten Hag in terms of what setup is he going to be willing to be that guy to just go, look, Ronaldo, you're gonna get your game time, but you're gonna have to play a very different role. And is he willing to sacrifice the records, the Champions League records that he's clearly wanting to keep going? And I appreciate that. And I think is he gonna be willing to do that? Is he gonna be willing to sacrifice his basically his playing time to nurture these other guys and coming through and play that bit part? And it sounds horrible saying it, that Ronaldo is going to be a bit part player. I'm not sure that if he will be, well, I'm pretty certain that he's going to be fuming with being sat on the bench for the past 2 games. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, pretty much. It's going to be a very tough decision that Ten Hag's going to have to, or decisions throughout the whole season. Because look, if he doesn't go this summer, it's obviously very tough, because you have obviously from the end of this transfer window to then, is he going to be able to get out in January? I imagine that if he doesn't get out in the summer, that Manchester United, obviously it's very clear that they want to keep him, but that Ronaldo's representatives are going to be working very hard from the end of this transfer window to January. So, and then it is sorted as soon as possible. And maybe, I mean, you never know, because it's a when you've got a player like Ronaldo in your team, and we got a super chat here as well. Maybe Ronaldo will accept that in a World Cup year. I mean, but you've got to take into consideration I mean, Ronaldo speaks for himself, right? He probably doesn't need to play to get into the World Cup squad, but players want to play in order to, get form and momentum leading into this World Cup that is coming up in November. So not long at all. So I mean, it's just I'm intrigued to see what happens as someone that's going to be witnessing, obviously, the situation unfold. I'm very, very intrigued as to how Manchester United and Ten Hag are going to handle this, and moving forward, what's going to kind of happen with Ronaldo. Again, to kind of round off the point, I do hope he does stay. I think he will be a great asset, but ultimately, if he does want to go and there is that option for him to leave, I wouldn't be throwing my toys at the pram, as the saying goes, to make him stay. I think if he wants to go, I don't want this to be. And I think Beth said it brilliantly in last night's forum. I don't want it, not that he's a toxic player, but I don't want it to develop into this thing that the media can play on between Ten Hag and Ronaldo, and Manchester United and Ronaldo. I don't want there to be any animosity because of the media, or because of certain things that the media can twist and stuff. And especially what happens to this interview that's going to happen if he does stay. Again, I'm very interested. But I think we can move off from the Ronaldo topic. We spoke loads about it, but again, I'm interested. We can bring another tweet up on screen. This is from Fabrizio Romano. Newcastle are expected to answer Man United's bid for Martin Dubravka today after their official loan bid with a £5 million buy option was submitted. Dubravka dreams of playing for Manchester United, and I mean, I don't know what you guys think of this. Ultimately, it's a bit of a strange one to me. I think when you're it's strange and it's not actually. Now that I think about it, Manchester United want a backup option for De Gea, but someone that isn't just going to sit there, someone that wants to challenge De Gea and wants that number one shirt. Since Nick Pope has been brought into Newcastle, Dubravka doesn't seem to have had a sniff, right? He's obviously now very clear that number two there. So when you're bringing in a number two from Newcastle to be a number two with the possibility of being a number one at Manchester United, it doesn't really add up. I understand that Dubravka is going to want this moving to Manchester United, having that on your CV, on your record is great. And I think Dubravka's a pretty decent keeper from what I've seen when he's been playing for Newcastle over the years. But ultimately, and I think that's why you're going to have to, when we've been in for Kevin Trapp and Jan Sommer, these guys are their first team keepers, right? They're very set in and playing games for their teams. So why would they want to sacrifice that, come in as a number two with no guaranteed game time at Manchester United? They're just kind of challenging and trying to bring out the best in each other. Whereas Dubravka, I'd say, is probably more likely coming in as that number two and being very clear in the sense that he's coming in and challenging, yes, but again, it's more probably just to kick up the backside for De Gea, if anything, guys. I think it's very clear that yeah, he can you maybe Europa League, maybe in the early rounds of the cup if it does happen. But I do agree that he is a half decent keeper, and that he will add something to the squad, and that he has had very good games for Newcastle. But again, a loan deal with a $5 million option. I mean, what does that necessarily then mean for what happens with Dean Henderson, right? So we've got, I guess it's an option. The $5 million is an option, so it's not definitely going to happen. So he could come for the year on loan, and we decide not to pay this $5 million. And then when Henderson comes back next year, if he's happy to stay, and again, this is something that's going to divide opinion within the fan base. Is he gonna be the number one? Is he gonna develop? It's another situation that Ten Hag's gonna have to deal with. And there's so many things within this club that I'm so happy that I can just sit back and just watch from afar. I love it. There's so many things. But yeah, I mean, moving away from Dubravka and kind of going back to old roots in the old Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang saga. And this is coming in from David Ornstein, actually. It's MUFC have been keeping tabs on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Memphis Depay while Cristiano Ronaldo's future at Old Trafford remains uncertain. I think I've been through the whole Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang situation. I disagree with this. I don't think this is the player we should be going for. I agree that he is a proven goal scorer within the Premier League. I agree that he will probably add something to the team, but I just don't think that he is a Manchester United signing. It's clear that it's looking now that the Chelsea saga is dying out. I mean, you can never count Manchester United out of these situations. I just don't think you can. Like, it's not a Manchester United isn't a normal club. They don't, like the Liverpool and the Man Cities. They don't get their business done early, and then Manchester United is a very reactive club instead of being proactive, especially over the God knows how long. It's just these players that we're being linked to, and I don't understand how we can go from Rabiot and I was going to say Mitrovic, then not Mitrovic, Arnautovic and stuff to getting Casemiro. It makes no sense. I agree, Charlie. Ronaldo isn't toxic. He's being professional. He could have pushed it like Antony to leave, but hasn't. But media will be toxic if he stays. This is the thing. That's from Majek, I think your name is. I mean, I agree. Ronaldo isn't a toxic player, but I don't want the media to spin and make it a toxic situation, and affect how people play and people's relationships. It doesn't need to be like that. But yeah, guys, I think we've covered the kind of what happens next with the incomings. Personally, to round it off, I don't think that we will be signing anyone else other than Dubravka. But when deadline day comes around, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dubravka thing is settled either today or tomorrow, and then when it comes to deadline day, that there's a development with Ronaldo, or even if there's not a development with Ronaldo, that the Manchester United ethos just cack themselves and then want to go and get Memphis Depay or Aubameyang or Gakpo or something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's more of someone on the free side that we just have to kind of pay their wages. But yeah, as I say, that's kind of the incomings, I'd say. But in terms of outgoings, we can bring another tweet up from David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell, actually. James Garner is Everton's top target in addition to Guy, or as an alternative, but they are waiting for Manchester United to engage. Now, obviously, I think it was last week or the week before. Obviously, the whole Garner reports came out, and yeah, it was horrible to see. Like, this isn't a player that we should be selling. No stretch of the imagination. We should not be selling James Garner. If anything, we should be loaning him out to a Premier League club like Everton, your Southampton, these lower Premier League clubs, because he's been there and done it in the Championship with Forest. He then needs to be either given the next step within his parent club of Manchester United and given the run of games. If he's not going to be given that, he should definitely be given the chance to prove himself within the Premier League at a lower league team, as I say, like your Evertons, your Southamptons, even a Brentford. I mean, Brentford probably don't need another midfielder. Their midfield looks good, but your Brightons, etc. Like these, he needs to go out and develop. And again, I said this on a previous show. If we are going to sell him, we should be smart here and include a buyback option. Depending on, obviously, this will depend on what how much they buy him for, whether it is I think 14 million or 13 million, 15 million, however much. If it is going to be that little, the buyback option will be, or should be, thought of, right? And it shouldn't be more than 30 million, because this guy's got some serious talent. This guy could go away to an Everton and be incredible, be this rejuvenated holding midfielder, progressive ball carrier that is comfortable getting the ball on the half turn and carrying the ball up the pitch and through balls and passing range and all this various stuff. It's a shame to see. In total honesty, it's a shame to see. It seemed to die down a little bit, and I don't know if this is because of the whole Antony saga that was going on, and obviously Casemiro being brought in as well. But there are still reports lingering out there that Garner is looking as a player to be sold in order to recoup some of that money that's obviously been spent. And I mean, it's a shame, as I say, because how much do we need that 15 million that Garner's going to get us? Like, in all honesty, guys, like how bad do we need that 15 million? Like, do we need we got Brandon Williams, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We've obviously just loaned Bailly, and that to me doesn't make sense. The loaning Bailly and getting I don't even know how much it is. Is it 8 million? But that's only if they qualify for the Champions League. Like, it's ridiculous. It's so silly, this club, genuinely. Like, the more and more you actually think about it deep down, like it's honestly, it's crazy. It is beyond me. Oh, and again, to touch on outgoings as well. This is from Rich Fay. Hannibal Mejbri is set to join Birmingham City on loan. Hannibal has also been offered a contract extension by Man United before he goes. This is obviously a very exciting player. Mejbri, I mean, when I think of Mejbri now, it's just the fact that when he came on, I think it was when we lost to Liverpool 4-0, he just came on and just started kicking people. And as much as it's not something you should advocate, it was something that it was nice to see. But why is it these young kids who come on and have to show their fight and determination, right? It's not it shouldn't be something that happen. It shouldn't be something that these guys should have to do, and they should be able to go out and develop on loan. And I think it's a natural progression for him. I think again, if he does go out to I think it was Birmingham, right? If he does go out to them on loan, I think hopefully there should be a thing in his contract where he is going to be playing a lot of minutes for them, because this guy has got some serious talent. I think he's one of the only, if not, I think he's definitely one of the only players to have more minutes internationally and appearances than he does for his club, Manchester United, and that's crazy. And again, he does play for, he does play. I think it's I can't remember off the top of my head actually, but yeah, I think he's a great player, and again, a very high ceiling player. And there was a lot of talk of the possibility of him getting a lot of minutes this season. Obviously, not looking likely, but it's good to see that he's going to get that contract extension. I have no doubt that he will be happy to sign that. I imagine it will be a long term deal, probably 5-6 year deal. It's interesting actually that these 6-year, 7-year contracts are being flown around. It was something that West Ham tried to do with Declan Rice as well. I think it was even like 7-year deal, something ridiculous. But Tunisia, there you go. That's his nationality. But yeah, obviously it's not a top nationality within, you know, the Euros and the World Cup, etc. So naturally they do need as the better players. But yeah, it's very strange that he has played more minutes for international level than he has for his parent club. But again, it probably shows something, right? It shows that if he's ready for international football, that, you know, he should be ready to play for Manchester United. But obviously with bringing, you know, Casemiro in and Eriksen, and you've already got Bruno and Van der Beek and stuff, naturally there's going to be a heavy competition for places. And I think, yeah, it's interesting that he is going out on loan, and I rate it. I rate it. Guys, I think that's everything in terms of outgoings. And again, I do want to come back to this Gakpo and Depay in terms of what you guys actually think and who you would prefer out of the two. I saw a lot of comments coming in saying that Gakpo is the guy. He's a finisher. He's the guy that we should be going after. But again, in the Eredivisie, he's been playing on that left wing. You know, now we've got Rashford, Sancho, Elanga, Antony as that probably the main four, right? I don't necessarily agree with that Elanga should be a starter for Manchester United. I definitely think at max he should be a fringe impact player. I don't think he's ready. I think the game against Southampton proved that. It's crazy how you can go from, I thought he played well in the 45 minutes he did against Liverpool, to being, you know, looked so out of place against Southampton. I don't think he turned up at all. I think he was probably, his mind was elsewhere. I'm not sure what was going on, but yeah, Gakpo or Depay. Gakpo or Depay. I think Gakpo for me, obviously, is stats wise is bringing something that Depay isn't, but Depay is bringing maybe more versatility, you could say, and is possibly, he's been around the block, right? He's been in the Premier League before. We know how that kind of ended up. He's been in League One. He's obviously been in the Eredivisie himself. He's also playing right now in La Liga, although he hasn't played this season. So there's a lot of pros and cons to weigh up for both players. And again, it's a thing that Manchester United are gonna have to take into consideration, because we definitely, regardless of what happens with Ronaldo, we need a attacking player in that centre forward position, and it's non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. We should be going for a forward player, and if Ronaldo leaves, it makes it even worse, because then we're stuck with Martial as a number 9 who seems to be injured every other week, plays one game, out for the next. That's not what you want. And then you've got Rashford as his backup, who Rashford against Southampton wasn't great either. So I think we're very stuck in terms of the centre forward striker position, and it's not ideal. It's really not ideal, and we need to pull our fingers out. I think, and as much as regardless of what happens, again, I'm very happy to see that the fan base aren't kind of won over by this Casemiro signing and the Antony signing in terms of the Glazer situation. I'm very happy by that, and I'm very happy that realistically, I'm very happy that these players have been brought in. But again, as I say, it doesn't take away from the broader and bigger message, which is that we still want the Glazers out. Depay for Cam. I think we've got attacking midfielders coming out of our neck. We've got Bruno, Ericsson can play there, Donny can play there, and then where does Depay come in there? Maybe as third choice, knocking Donny down to fourth choice. It's very much a tough situation. Gakpo is a no-show in big games, not ready for the Premier League yet, and that's actually what I touched on earlier on the show, is that if Gakpo, with this high ceiling of potential and being alluded to as this Thierry Henry / Robin van Persie type player, is he going to be able to come in and fulfill that potential if he's only going to play 15 games for the first season? You know, are these players going to be willing to do it? We're so short up front. You say no to Albert, says Chris. No, but the reason I'm saying no to Aubameyang, I mean, look, at the end of the day, if it's Aubameyang or nothing, then we're that desperate that maybe I could sway my head and say yes to Aubameyang. But it's almost like when you're being linked with Depay and Gakpo and stuff, like Aubameyang doesn't really come into my head, or I don't really consider Aubameyang as an option. But I just don't think that Aubameyang should even be considered as a Manchester United player. I don't think so. And that's even after he's a proven Premier League goal scorer, and you know, he scored goals for Barcelona. And I just don't think that the situation of him, you know, at Arsenal and stuff, whatever happened there, it's obviously very, very tough. But guys, I think that's going to be the end of the show. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the super chats. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any further shows. And we'll be back at 2 p.m. unless there's obviously a here we go in between. You never know with Manchester United. But appreciate it. As I